everyone. So lockdown is easing here in the UK, and whether or not that's a good thing, seeing as there are still local flare-ups, it's definitely good for the businesses, and I'm looking forward to getting back to climbing. But like many people, I haven't climbed for about 4 months. That's the longest I've gone without climbing since I started. So I thought I would just show you what I'm doing to prepare to go back. Obviously this isn't my normal content, so I'll be posting some more science content on my usual day of Wednesday, but I thought this would be helpful for some of you. Bar-based exercises are probably my go-to for climbing specific exercises. You can use a chin-up bar or a hangboard, but only use a hangboard if you're an adult or you've been climbing many years at a high grade. Dead hangs and chin-ups are good as they use your body weight, which is all you have to hold up on a climbing wall, but it can be adapted to make it easier with a resistance band or harder with weights. And it works your upper body and core, both of which are really important in climbing. In hollow body hold, the whole point is to keep your lower back pressed into the floor. There should be no gap. This makes sure your whole core is activated, so squeeze everything and lower your legs to a point where you really have to try hard to keep your back on the ground, but doable for at least 30 seconds without moving. Make sure you adjust the times and reps to your ability. Don't do handstands if they're beyond your current capability, and only do the open grip holds if you have fairly strong fingers already. If you don't have a chin-up bar, you can also do this on a swing or a tree branch. I often do some on the swing outside as it's a thicker branch, so it's kind of like training for a sloper. That's my train of thought anyway. The thicker it is, the harder, so adjust accordingly. So a variation of a chin-up would be a lat pull down on a multi-gym. Obviously this is probably one for when gyms reopen, but I find it's good for endurance as I tend to have the weight set to about half my weight and then do more reps, usually about 20, and as quick as I can. This is just your typical dumbbell workout. I usually go for lower weights and do higher reps as I tend to be more of a lead climber than a boulderer, so that requires more endurance. And so hammer curls are quite good as they put a lot of the work into your forearms, which is obviously needed in climbing. Make sure that you engage your core when you do this to try not rock back and forth too much. So this one is an exercise that I took from Shauna Coxey's Shoulders for Climbers, and I find it's really good as it requires a lot of whole body stability, which equates to climbing. So make sure your body stays completely still by tensing your core. So balance is incredibly important in climbing, and I find that this exercise kind of simulates a situation where you're flagging or just reaching for a distant hold. Another good thing about this is that it requires dynamic balance, which also mimics movements in climbing. I usually try to reach about 50 centimetres away, and the further you reach, the harder it is. And you can add weights to make this a little bit harder. So the pink one I've got is 1 kilo, and then the red ones are 3 kilos. So forearm curls are quite boring, and I probably should be using the higher weight here, but they're quite good to isolate just the forearms, which usually would get pumped when you go climbing. It's definitely a good little exercise to do while watching the TV or something. After a workout, always make sure to leave some time to stretch, as this is important for recovery and also to increase range of movement for climbing. Since lockdown started, I've definitely allocated more time for stretching, so if you'd like to follow along, this is my stretch routine I do for splits practice. Oh, that was tiring. I wouldn't usually do all of that in one day, I'd spread it out, but I wanted to give you some ideas, so I hope it was helpful. Yeah, and normal science content will resume on Wednesday. And just before I go, here are some tips on how to stay safe while going back to climbing after lockdown. So first of all, don't rush it. Don't go back to your on-site grade that you could have done before and then get pumped out on your first go and then not be able to climb anymore, because that's something I would do and it would be very disappointing. So let's all try not to do that. As in any enclosed space, make sure you wear a mask and sanitize your hands frequently. My climbing centre are actually suggesting using liquid chalk rather than normal block or powder chalk, as it often has a high alcohol content, so it also acts as hand sanitizer, which is useful. And also you don't want to start someone's coughing by clouds of chalk in the air, because yeah, we don't want people to cough. And finally, stay a safe social distance and don't go if you feel sick or have any symptoms. So let me know if you want to see more climbing or fitness content, as it's not specifically sciencey. I will do some things about the science of climbing and things, but if you just want general fitness and climbing stuff, let me know in the comments and I'll see you on Wednesday.